This was the third space-saving workbench I built for my shop, but it was much needed. And well, I did it for you. Let me explain. I'm cutting the tabletop into two pieces, which generally you're not supposed to do on workbenches, but for this one it works. Having built two similar workbenches in the past, I figured out what has worked well and what needs to be improved, and I'm hoping to deliver on all that here. I always like my shop furniture to look nice also, so I'm adding this white oak border to the tabletop, and yes, it will look good, but it also serves a very practical purpose, which you'll see towards the end of the video. Since I don't have any clamps long enough for this step, I'm doubling and even tripling up on some of the clamps to make it work. Because I make plans for all of the shop furniture that I build, this workbench included, I always try and keep costs down so that the people that buy my plans don't have to spend an arm and a leg when they build it. And cost was especially at the forefront of my mind on this build. So the tabletop is just one 2-foot by 4-foot sheet of plywood, and the base just requires 6 2x4s. I'm using a stop block with my miter saw to cut all 4 legs to their final lengths, and using a stop block ensures that all the legs will be the exact same length and I don't have to measure each one. Another thing I'm trying to do with this workbench is make it as light as possible. So for the legs and the horizontal leg support pieces, I'm using a half lap joint so the leg structures will be just 1.5 inches thick. I'm using the leg support pieces as a measuring tool so I can get the exact width that the half laps need to be. Now, the other 2 workbenches I made were not too heavy, but I just wanted to make this one as light as possible while still being very sturdy so that it's really easy to move around in the shop. Now, this is going to be a folding workbench, so keeping this as light as possible is just going to make it that much easier to fold the legs in and fold the tabletop down when the workbench is not in use. I'm sneaking up on the final cut so that this can be a snug fit. I don't want it to be too loose when I'm assembling it. A really nice thing about having a folding workbench is, yes, I have so much more room for activities, but also I have a lot of room to assemble large furniture pieces in my workshop. I can fold up the bench, put it off to the side, and I have a lot of room for assembly, and I don't have to assemble a larger furniture piece in the driveway like I've had to do before. I'm cutting a notch out on these lower leg support pieces because in a little bit I will be putting another piece which will prevent the workbench legs from folding in inadvertently. Realistically, the chances of the legs folding in are very, very low, especially because I'll have some tabletop latches installed, but this will also keep the workbench a little sturdier as well. Now I get to put some of these pieces together and assemble these leg structures, and it's really nice to see part of this workbench coming together. Because I'm a woodworker and I overbuild everything, I'm securing these legs together using glue and screws. Just glue or just screws would probably be fine, but I want to make sure that these legs will stay together in an earthquake. And because I also don't like the look of exposed screws most of the time, a little weird thing that I have, I'm hiding those screws with dowels. Will these dowels match the wood or even the grain of the legs? No. But I actually think the contrast of the dowels to the legs looks pretty cool. Okay, we have the tabletop built, we have the leg structures put together. Now it's time to build the workbench base, and don't worry, this base will be very sturdy because of triangles. I cut the long pieces to their final lengths, and now I'm going to use pocket holes to assemble these pieces together. At the beginning of the video, I only showed myself cutting 4 legs on the miter saw to the exact same lengths. I actually cut 6 legs because 2 of those legs are shown here, and they will be the legs of the workbench base. It'll make more sense in a little bit when you see it, but I need to build this base so that I can then secure the workbench leg structures to this base using hinges so that the legs can fold in and out. Ooh, that makes me crave an In-N-Out burger right now. Okay, stay on track, Thomas. I am using a diagonal cross brace for this base, so that rhymes, so that I can produce triangles, which is the strongest shape and will keep this workbench from wobbling. I did this in one of my other folding workbench builds, and I didn't really know why it kept the workbench so much more sturdy than just a horizontal brace. And so I asked for people to explain it to me in the comments, and they gave me some great explanations. Again, just screws would be just fine here, but classic Thomas, I'm going for the glue and screw method for the earthquake. If you were excited about the leg structures getting assembled, oh boy, you are going to go nuts for this. I'm attaching the leg structures to the workbench base using hinges, and now you'll finally get to see how the folding mechanism works. The legs fold, yay! These latch blocks are going to end up being really important, but now it's time to allow the workbench tabletop to fold. 6 hinges on the small tabletop piece, and yeah, that might be a couple more than I need, but I really wanted to make sure I could do anything I want on this bench. Now, if you have a router and don't want there to be a little gap when you put the large tabletop piece and the small tabletop piece together on the base, you can route out an area for the middle of this hinge to go. Then you could put both tabletop pieces right next to each other and there will be no gap. But you will have to route a chamfer on the inside edge of both the small tabletop piece and the large tabletop piece, otherwise it won't be able to fold. Remember when I was all like, oh, I hate exposed screws are the worst. Well, I'm gonna have some exposed screws here on the small tabletop piece because really I just didn't want to take the time to hide them with dowels, and I have these gray screws that actually look fine. So there'll be exposed screws here, they'll look good, and we're gonna move on. I am calling this workbench the lightweight folding workbench. Very creative, I know. But if you think it should be called something different, let me know in the comments. If I'm being honest, it is very unlikely I will change the name, but I still want to hear your ideas. All right, fold, there we go. If you're wondering why I sound a little more excited than I probably should that the tabletop folds correctly, it is because in woodworking, mistakes are made all the time. And in every project that I build, I make multiple mistakes. Some are major, some are minor, and I'm just excited that no major mistakes have been made on this project yet. This is the support piece I was talking about earlier that will fit in those notches, and this will keep the legs nice and stable. So what did I mean when at the beginning of the video I said I built this workbench for you? Well, I know that nowadays it can cost a lot of money to build anything. I also know that a lot of people don't have a ton of space in their workshops or crafting areas. So here I have the lightweight folding workbench, which is small enough to fit in almost any workshop, does not take a lot of materials to build, keeping the cost down, is lightweight, mobile, and folds up and out of the way when not in use. I already have 2 workbenches. I don't need a third. But I thought this workbench would help a lot of people, so I thought I'd build it and show you. I'm not going to hide the fact that I do sell plans for this workbench, and it was a good business decision to create this plan, but it does make me feel good that I can provide value to people in a small space. Let me know what you think about this folding workbench idea, and remember, be kind, be awesome.